fall off of it. Rise from the bottom to the top of it. Haters gon' hate, but you gotta love it. Watch me now, I'm bringing all that power. All that power. I'm bringing all that power. It's an energy inside of me, I wanna be full of that power. All that power. I'm bringing all that power. I can guarantee victory and energy, bringing that power. Yeah, I'm a king with a pure soul. Ain't no man alive that can take the throne.
We are live from Wembley Stadium. This is finally it. This is the press conference for Tyson Fury and Dillian Whyte. With me, I'm delighted to have the Hall of Fame boxing promoter Frank Warren, who's making it all happen. Frank, welcome to Wembley again.
Yes, mate, my legs have gone all trembly.
How are you feeling? I mean, this is the first time that these guys are going to go face to face. First time they've been in a room for many years, from what I've heard. What can we expect, and what are your thoughts heading into this?
Well, I mean, there's going to be a lot of. I mean, obviously it's fight week. There was it 3 days away now from the fight, 4 days away from the fight, and you're going to get a lot of tension. You're going to get a lot of emotion. There'll be that always happens in fight week. But having said that, anything can happen. You know, it's all unpredictable. No one can say how it's going to be. Obviously, they'll answer the questions they're asked and so forth, and see where it goes from there.
Tyson Fury, in the build-up to this fight, obviously he had the launch press conference, which he carried on his own. He was sort of goading Dillian. There's been name-calling. There's been posters made with Dillian Whyte and wearing some knickers. He's called him Dillian Whyte knickers. All sorts of stuff. Is that the sort of stuff that Dillian Whyte has surely been kind of building up, and he's going to explode today, or what do you think?
I've got no idea. He's not helped, has he? I mean, not everything that's been done for this fight has been done by Tyson. So that's where we are. I've had a sort of a very brief conversation with Dillian, trying to sort some of this out last week, and unfortunately, he didn't get to the public workout. So today's the first time they're going to be together, and we'll see where they are. You know, he's got to step up and help promote the show.
It does sound positive, though, the fact that Whyte is doing media. Obviously, he wasn't at the public workout yesterday. We saw that. A plane issue is what we were told there. But he did go straight to Sky Sports studio. He was doing interviews with them. He's talking up the fight. So it must be good to have him on board. And not just that, how did you do it? What was the step taken in order to break down this wall? Well,
we just got everybody on the phone and went through it and got it sorted out. You know, he wanted some things. All we want was in the contract. Simple as that. And anyway, we worked it out, and he will be here today, which is the main thing.
Tyson Fury's been talking about retiring. He's talked about it before, right? And he talked about it at the launch press conference. It was taken largely with a pinch of salt. People were saying that he's saying it to sell the fight. He's doubled down on it this week. And he's giving reasons as well. He's talking about he wanted to spend time with his family. Do you think this is for real? Do you think this really is his last fight?
I don't know. I mean, if that's his last fight, you know, if that's how it's going to be, then that's what it'll be. You know, he's the guy getting in the ring. He's the guy who's taking the punches. So it's got to be his decision. But whatever he wants to do, you know, we'll be there with him and support him fully. He's done everything that's been asked of him. What's out there for him? Fight Usyk, which would be a great fight, as we all know. That's there for him, but it's up to him. It's up to him, Deb. You know, what are you going to do? If he wants to retire, he'll retire. It's not like he's got lots of miles on the clock, or he's one of those fighters that's had, had some really grueling fights his whole career. He's a very smart boxer. And he's had one fight in 2 years now.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's, as I say, it's not like he's been fighting too much. But if he wants to retire, he'll retire. No one's going to change his mind. He'll do what he wants to do, and quite rightly so.
From a promoter's perspective, then, talk of retirement ahead of a fight. That for me, that's a red flag. For me, that's when a fighter starts talking about things away from boxing, 1 foot out of the game. Are you not seeing that as a bit of a red flag, or
in what way?
Well, if their mind's not completely focused on this fight and they're talking about retiring, is that not a bad thing?
He's focused on this fight. It's the best training camp. He's told me, and so's his dad and his trainer Sugar. It's the best training camp he's had. So you think about the 3 unbelievable fights he had with Wilder, and this training camp went better than them. Mm-hmm. So you should see something special from him.
What's his mood been like around fight week? I mean, he seems cool yesterday. He seems in a good place.
He is. I mean, you know, I was a bit pissed off with that Sky interview. I thought they went on and on and on. You know, just, you know, which I thought it was a liberty what they did at the end of the day. But it is what it is, and we, you know, and he's in a good frame of mind.
There was talk this morning, so Tyson spoke to IFL, and one of the things he mentioned is something you said about a standby opponent, and he was asked who is the standby opponent, and he said it's Joseph Parker. What can you tell us about that?
I'm going to tell you we don't need a standby opponent, so what's the point of going on about it? It's irrelevant. The fact is he's here and he'll fight now, Dillian.
So he's fit and firing, Tyson's ready to go.
Yeah.
What are you expecting from Dillian then in terms of the actual fight? How do you think he's going to play?
I think, you know, he's not going to outbox Tyson, and he's a smaller guy. Tyson's got, you know, got a longer reach. He's faster, much faster boxer. He's got, you know, faster hand speed, footwork, everything's there. He's got to do what Wilder did in the last fight in that first round. You've got to make yourself small, come out, and try and break Tyson down, you know, get inside his jab, and that's what he's got to do, and fight on the inside. If he stands on the outside, he's going to get out jabbed. So that's why it's going to be a good fight, because I can't see what else he can do. He's not a counter puncher, you know. That's how he fights. He's strong, he's tough, he's dangerous, and they're his attributes, and he's got to use them.
There was talk yesterday. I think Gareth A. Davis went on record with a quote which has got a lot of attention, and he said that currently he would back Dillian Whyte to beat Anthony Joshua. What do you think about that?
Well, if he hit him on the whiskers, he'd go. You know, anyone who catches Anthony, he struggles, doesn't he? Now, I mean, he's got his chin is suspect. We've seen it. So, and Dillian's got a punch that could land it, and if he exploded that on his chin, he'd go. I think so.
What can you tell us about the undercard? There's Anthony Kakachi put a tweet out this morning saying his fight's off. What can you tell us?
Well, his opponent is a real pain in the backside. His opponent's visa didn't come through for some reason, and so that fight's off. But we brought S.O. Eckerman fight forward to replace it, which is a cracker of a fight. That's a real. I think it's a. You know, I'm not saying it's a better fight, but it's a bloody good fight. So that's on there, and he'll be looking to impress because he's got his eyes set on Conor Benn.
So that's breaking news there in terms of the fight that was going to headline at York Hall next week has now been brought forward to Wembley Stadium. So
which is a really good fight. So they're fit and well. It's not like we're running around looking for guys who are unfit. These guys have been training for which is a very competitive fight.
What a proud moment for you, though, this. I mean, this has got to be the biggest show you've ever done, right?
Well, it's the biggest show anybody's done in Europe. It's 94,000 people there. That's the end of it. That's what it speaks for itself. And I keep banging on about it's highest grossing event to ever take place at Wembley. So, of course, I'm very proud, and I'm delighted that, you know, I'm doing it with Tyson, working with Tyson. I mean, he's the man who's made it happen. He's just such a, you know, he's been such good news, and you know, been really good. He's been good since he's been with Queensbury. It's worked out good for him and good for us. It's been a good partnership, and I'm delighted with it.
Tell me, obviously it's not been plain sailing, this promotion. It's been a bit different. Have you been able to enjoy it as maybe you should have done?
No, I got annoyed with Dillian and all the antics that went on behind the scene, and it took a while to sort it out. But having said that, you know, that's all gone now. You've got to live in the moment, and the moment is where we are today. And it's going to now, the real serious build-up will be there. I mean, you know, it's not like we've got to go and sell the tickets. We're now working on the pay-per-view side of it, and so now both boxers have got to do their bit, as they're contractually bound to do.
Do you think there'll be any pushing and shoving next couple of days?
I hope not, because I don't want any. I'm not a big fan of all that, because, you know, God forbid one of them gets clipped or gets a cut eye, then the fight's off.
And he's still caged?
Save the fight in for the ring. Well, that at the time was because of the problems that David Hay and Chisora had. So, and it was a good PR stunt as well.
Fantastic, Frank. Well, final word from yourself ahead of the press conference.
Oh, well, I think it's going to be quite interesting. I hope it's going to be exciting. I'm sure there's no love lost between either of them, so we'll go from there. And it's like this at the moment is the cake. We've got the icing on at the weigh-in, and then the cherry is the fight.
Well,
so we're at the cake stage at the moment.
We're at the cake stage. If you guys want to eat some cake, do not go anywhere.
You
Join
can't have
us.
your cake and eat it.
You can't, but well, you sort of can, because we're going to be live very shortly. We're staying live for the press conference here at Wembley. This is Frank Warren, the man who's made it all happen, and we'll see you very shortly.
Got a message for Dillian?
Yeah, you get knocked out, Mickey. The king is back.
I'm sick and tired of Tyson Fury, man. He's such a fraud.
Dillian Whyte, you're not on my level. Let's have it!
No one is scared of you. Bring the pain, man.
Well, let Tyson Fury's power and I've dropped him on multiple occasions.
Untrue. Dillian Whyte couldn't drop his granny.
He just talks crap.
I put it on you in a boxing gym, you yourself. Is there anyone else?
One of the biggest fights in British boxing history.
I survived so much things in life.
Me and Dylan are going to put it on the line.
One fight can change everything, man.
You're getting knocked spark out.
Everyone write me up. I just keep showing up.
He's refusing to show up for today's Wembley press conference.
I'll definitely win this stare down. Howard!
#1, baby!
You've gone silent. Where are you, Brilliant?
Hello? He says he's the best. I want to fight the best.
I bring the hype.
What's my problem? It's going to go up.
Wembley's a sellout and they've all come to see me. The Gypsy King!
No more talking.
Does it get any better than that?
Press conference for the first time. Tyson Fury and Dillian Whyte will face off. Joining me is a man who has forgotten more about boxing than I will ever know. Andy Clark, how you doing?
Yeah, good. Really buzzing for such a big fight week. It's great to be around it. The open workouts yesterday were terrific, and you get here today and you just see the amount of press that have descended on this from all around the world, and it just ramps up day by day, doesn't it? You just get that. You start to feed off it more and more with each day that passes, and we'll see them together today for the first time, I think.
Yeah, I mean, what can we expect from that, Andy? Is it a case of, I was speaking to Frank earlier, Dillian Whyte's been silent for so long. I said he went from maximum violence to maximum silence, right? Okay, but he's been silent for so long, and he's had to see things on his Instagram feed, pictures of himself with knickers on, things like this that have gone up from Tyson Fury. Has it all built up to an explosion today?
He's a canny operator, Dillian. I've been around him for quite a long time, covered a lot of his fights, and I think he'll enjoy being face-to-face with Fury today, but I don't think anything that Fury may or may not have done over the last few weeks will have got to him at all. I think he's just chosen the path of least resistance, basically, in the build-up. And I do think that someone like Deontay Wilder, although the situation was different because that third fight really needed to be sold, I think he would look at what Dillian's done and thought to himself, I wish I'd been able to do that rather than I wish I'd done it. Because
I mean, he tried to do it.
He did, and he wanted to disengage as much as possible, put his headphones on, look at his phone. There's no point expending too much emotional energy tangling with Tyson Fury, I don't think, if you're the kind of character who's going to get wound up by him. I'm not absolutely sure that Dillian is that character, and I certainly don't think he'll allow it to happen in the relatively short period of time they'll spend together this week. He'll have plenty to say for himself today, I'm sure about that, but I think he'll be most kind of determined to make sure that he doesn't let the Gypsy King under his skin at all, because once he's there then, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's hard to dislodge.
Well, does it actually make a difference? I mean, sometimes you see these face-offs and you think, oh, he's got the better of that, and then fight night, the person who got the better of it loses. And all of these sort of antics, Tyson Fury running out with Batman, there was talk of all that had a mental effect on Klitschko. Did it? Does it really matter, any of this stuff? You've been to many press conferences over the years.
It can be difficult to tell. I think when you've got an experienced campaigner like somebody like White, then your guess would be no. But then Deontay Wilder's a very experienced campaigner, and I think that it did have some kind of an effect on him. And what was really interesting about that third fight was the way that he kind of stayed in his dressing room on as the first bell approached, and took his only opportunity to really take a stance and reclaim some kind of power back. Now, Dillian's already done that by not going to the first press conference, by not turning up yesterday. Travel problems were what we heard. Maybe he did have them, maybe he didn't. I don't really think it's going to have too much effect on him, but you may as well just remove it from the equation, the possibility of it, as much as you can with someone like Fury, because he's not your average kind of customer. I don't really see Fury ever succumbing to it, to be perfectly honest. I think he is one of those fighters who has been doing this that long and he's that comfortable with it that he can just switch into fight mode whenever he needs to. So I think this will be fun today. And I think it will be fun at the weigh-in, because these two, you know, they've been around the block a few too many times to start swinging at each other in a press conference.
Right? You'd think so. Well, Tyson's been talking about retirement. Now, he mentioned it at the launch press conference. He said, "This is my last one." And a lot of people just thought, well, he's just saying that. He's going to sell out stadium because it's his last fight. He's doubled down on it this week. What do you think? Do you think he's going to do it? Do you think he's going to retire? Do you think what we're here for is Tyson Fury's last fight week press conference? Is this going to be his last fight?
I'd be amazed if it was his last fight. And he has doubled down on it. And I expected him to, because he's that kind of a character. I honestly think that some days he gets out of bed and he could say one thing, he could say something else the next. But I think he needs boxing. I think he needs boxing to keep him on that even keel, to maintain that equilibrium within his life all around. You don't need to be fighting in front of 94,000 people every week, obviously, but I think he loves the highs of this. He absolutely loves fight week. I think he gets a hell of a lot out of it, and I don't think he's going to want to turn his back on this just yet, because he's in this for the history, isn't he? He's always been in it for the history. He said that right from the start, and if he can win this fight, then the winner of Joshua Usyk awaits, and the chance to make history. And I firmly believe that if he could get past Dillian Whyte and make him a strong favourite, then you would have to make him a strong favourite for whoever wins that fight too. So I'd be amazed if this is his last fight.
But it feels like there's too much left on the table for him to walk away from. If he did, how would he be remembered as a heavyweight? Would he be remembered as one of the greatest of all time? Or will there still be sort of unanswered questions? Yeah, but he didn't fight this guy. We wanted to see that fight. What do you think?
I think if he called it a day after this fight, people would feel a bit shortchanged, because they would feel that he could have stuck around longer, that there weren't too many miles on the clock, and he could have done that little bit more, which would be to beat the winner of Joshua against Usyk, and then maybe go on to fight whoever the loser of that fight was anyway. The 3 wins against Wilder were spectacular. 2 wins and a draw. Always say 3 wins.
Everyone does.
The win against Klitschko was absolutely phenomenal at the time, and that as a body of work in itself is impressive. But I just think he's got the opportunity to make it that bit more impressive. We have action behind us, I think, do we?
Yeah, it started here. Paul Dempsey's taken to the mic. Nice WBC belt there as well. Move back. They can't get further back than us, Andy. What do we think about this belt that's joined us this week in Fight Week as well? I mean, Maurizio loves bringing a belt in for a big occasion, huh?
Doesn't he just? It's not... I don't know. I don't think it would sit favourably in my wardrobe, to be honest with you. But I do like the green and gold. I think we all do. But I don't know. It's almost, I hesitate to say it's not about the belt, because the WBC title's a big title. But this being all Brits, well. Yeah, of course, yeah. And I accept that with Fury, because he was lineal champ and then he retired. But now he's reactivated. I think he kind of reclaims it. It's a bit of an endless debate, isn't it? The lineal title. And some people, the way they talk about it, they betray the fact that they just don't really understand what it is. But he is the man who beat the man. He is the man who beat the man.
He remains that. Tell me, there is a lot of money on the line here for Dillian Whyte. There's a winner's bonus as well. Not just that. My understanding is he's not tied down to any network. He's not tied down to any promoter. He wins on Saturday night. He becomes the lineal and WBC World Heavyweight Champion. He's just beaten Tyson Fury at Wembley Stadium. He is surely, at that point, the hottest free agent in boxing.
Oh, 100%. 100%. If he wins on Saturday, then he becomes the man. And as good as Usyk is, and as much as Joshua has achieved, he is the man who beat the king. It's as simple as that. And after that, therein lie the untold riches, basically. It would be an absolutely monumental victory for him, and you can't rule it out, because
absolutely not in this
division.
He's
paid his dues. Absolutely, he's paid his dues. People point to the defeat against Povetkin. It was a devastating knockout, but he consistently took hard fights when he didn't really need to. And then finally, when this one hoved into view, I don't know what went on with that fight against Otto Wallin, but it didn't happen. We all know that. So for the first time, he kind of decided, I'm just going to sit on this ranking, which was what people probably would have been advising him to do for a long time.
He's
always rolled the dice. He will give it absolutely everything he's got. I think he is definitely capable of hurting Tyson Fury, even putting him down. But putting him down and beating him are two different things.
It's keeping him down.
Keeping him down. You know, if you'd said to somebody before the whole Wilder thing started, they're going to fight 3 times and Fury's going to be down 4 times, you'd have thought, well, that's got to be at least 2 wins for Deontay Wilder,
100%.
hasn't it? At least.
Who's got more miles on the clock? Because Tyson looks fresh, right? He looked fresh yesterday. He's had 3 hard fights. Well, 2 hard fights with Deontay Wilder. The second fight wasn't so hard. But there's been knockdowns, as you say. Even the punches that weren't knocking him down, they must have hurt. This sort of stuff adds up. Dillian Whyte, we've seen him hurt a few times, we've seen him down a few times, we've seen him knocked out cold. Who do you think has more miles on the clock heading into Saturday?
I'd say Dillian's got more miles on the clock because you look at the hard fights he's had, 2 against Chisora, 1 against Rivas, 1 against Parker, knocked out by Povetkin. And in pretty much every high-level fight he's had, he's got hurt, hasn't he? Because you look at, like, Helenius hurt him like, early on in that fight with a jab.
You know, stiff jab.
Marisvak tickled him a few times in Saudi. You know, every time he's boxed at a really high level, he's been hurt at some point. He's managed to recover mostly. But I would say that he's got more miles on the clock because that second Chisora fight was savage. The Parker fight was, I mean, he was 1 punch away from winning at the end there, Joseph, definitely. And that's why I admire Whyte for the way that he's taken those kinds of fights. And you wouldn't say he's showing too many ill effects of it because he did get knocked out against Povetkin, but prior to that he was winning the fight comfortably. But I think you would have to say him.
He's a tenacious guy. One common opponent that both guys have is Derek Chisora. They've both beaten him twice, but both done it in very different ways. Who beat Derek Chisora better?
Fury. I went to the second fight and we waited a long time for it because it was postponed. It was supposed to be earlier in the year and then it ended up being October, November time, I think, didn't it? 2014. And I was doing bits of Box Nation at the time, so Jim Bentley got me a ticket, which was awesome. Brilliant fights on that card as well. You know, Eubank Saunders, obviously.
Yeah, what a card that
Bradley Skeet, Frankie Gavin,
Gavin.
really good card, great card. And he just put him away comfortably, switched between orthodox and southpaw. That's something that he might well do on Saturday because we saw at the workout. He boxed southpaw, he can do it any which way. Dillian, looking down his record, has never really, in any of his high-level fights, I think none of them have been southpaws that I could think of. So, you know, he's an experienced guy. It's not going to throw him completely out of kilter, but that might be something they'll think about. But Fury that night against Chisora was really good.
Barely touched him. So he did go the whole workout in southpaw, Tyson Fury. Now, I don't think you can often read too much into what a fighter does at a public workout. They're normally just playing up to the fans. But the fact that he did the whole thing in southpaw, what do you think Dillian Whyte is thinking when he's watching that, if he's watching that?
It's going to make him think that he could do that on Saturday.
Yeah.
I don't know if it really matters that much, though, because the more I kind of watch elite sport, and I covered football for a long time, what you realise is that these guys prepare as well as they possibly can. And a lot of that is to banish your own doubt, is to keep your own doubt under control. If you haven't trained, then you're going to feel some doubt that you haven't done what you should have done. But when the bell goes, or the whistle, or the gun, or whatever it is you're doing, essentially you're winging it. You're winging it as well as you can, and some things might happen in front of you that you were expecting, but others just might not. Yeah. They might do something that you completely didn't think they were going to do. So as soon as it starts, that's the territory you're in. You just react and do the best you can. And yeah, maybe southpaw would suit him. Who knows? I mean, we've not really seen him particularly against a southpaw, but I don't think that kind of thing, I don't think it really matters, to be honest.
We're just going to have a little look behind us here. It looks like the teams are starting to descend on this press conference. I can see Dean Whyte. I can't see Dillian yet, but I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is around.
This is the final set-piece press conference. Tyson Fury against Dillian Whyte for the WBC
We'll hand over to Paul Dempsey.
Night for British sport and an historic event, even for Wembley Stadium. It's live on BT Sport Box Office and in the United States, ESPN Plus pay-per-view. We'll get straight to business. First, I'd like to introduce, from the United States, very welcome here, the president of Top Rank Boxing, Todd DeBerth, and Hall of Fame promoter, Frank Warren. If gentlemen, you join me on the stage. Thank you very much. Welcome. Next, a very special and perhaps overdue welcome to a very important person this week. He is here, and he deserves to be here. He is the long-standing #1 WBC contender. He is Dillian Whyte. Please give him a great welcome. Excellent. And Dillian, of course, has brought his support staff with him, including Xavier Miller and Harold Shadow Knight. Welcome, gentlemen. And now, of course, for the undefeated and lineal WBC World Heavyweight Champion, the Ring Magazine #1, and a new boxing superstar, Tyson Fury. Welcome, Tyson. Thank you very much for joining us, everybody. So we're going to get right to it. And with every possible respect to you, Dillian, we're going to ask the champion to get us underway, kicking off here at Wembley Stadium. Tyson, the floor is yours.
Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. Big turnout again. Room is absolutely chocker. The fight is here. Big night's just a few days away. Dillian's landed, boys are here, cameras are here, lights, camera and action. I'm sure everyone's got a lot of questions, so I won't ramble on all day. Peace out. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tyson. Well, Dillian, we have been waiting for you. You're very welcome. Nobody disputes your right to be here on this massive occasion. Please give us your opening remarks.
Hello everyone, thanks for coming out. You know, it's a big fight. I'm excited to be here. Sorry I couldn't be here earlier, but we're here now, so let's go.
We'll get back to you in a moment. And to you, Frank, huge occasion for British sport. 90,000 at the Anthony Joshua fight. This is bigger, isn't it?
Hold on a minute. Where is Sugar Hill's chair? Come on, Sugar, you have mine if you want, mate. No, grab him a chair.
Sugar Hill.
Come on.
Sugar Hill steward, come and join us, please.
Sit down, brother. Come on.
Thank you, Tyson.
All right, I'll sit down on this little chair here.
Welcome, Sugar Hill. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciated.
Frank, over to you.
It's, well, listen, it's a European record for a fight. 94,000 tickets sold out. It's going to be a fantastic night. There's no doubt about that. You've got, for me, the heavyweight of his generation, best heavyweight of his generation, lineal champion, WBC champion, ring belt champion, against a young man over there in Dillian, who's, how long have you been waiting for now, Dillian, this fight? 1,700 days?
I don't know. It's been so long I forgot.
Yeah, 34 years he's been waiting for this
Late
fight.
2017.
He's got the fight, and we know he's in great shape, great condition. We've looked at some of the footage and seen how much how hard he's trained. But he's got to train hard when you're fighting a guy like Tyson Fury, because Tyson's trained hard. And we've had quite a few conversations over the last few weeks, and certainly the most recent one a couple of days ago. And he said to me, it's the best training camp he's ever had. And that's a testament to Sugar Hill and the preparation of all the team to get him where he's at. So you've got both these guys in tip-top fighting condition. So what you're going to get on the night, a great fight.
Thank you very much, Frank. And Todd, if I can ask you for an opening line or two, please.
Well, you know, first of all, it's a pleasure to be here, and you know, this is more than boxing, guys. This is the world of sport. This is a global epicenter for entertainment and sport. And it's a tribute to all of us in the room. It's a tribute to Frank, BT, and especially these two great prize fighters that have brought it all for the many years and hard work in the gym to elevate the sport and them as class. And the world's all going to be watching, not only 94,000. So this is an honor to be a part of, and it's going to be a wonderful night. We all will remember this.
Thank you very much, Todd. Tyson, to come back to you, tell us more about your training camp. How have you prepared? How happy are you with your state of readiness?
Yeah, I'm training good. Training went well. I started training in about January for this fight. Had a good... How long did we do together, Sugar? 6, 7 weeks or something? 7 weeks together, 6 weeks training, 1 week rest. We've had a great preparation, you know. There's never any complaints from me. We always do what we can do in training camps and, you know, do the best we can do on the night, and that's it. I'm sure Dillian's had a great training camp as well, and he's a good fighting man. And fans are in for a real treat. 94,000 people. They're going to see a good tear-up. I know Dillian. I know him personally, and he knows me, and we're going to rock and roll on the night. We're ready to throw down and treat us all to a hell of a barnstormer. Don't worry about that.
And Tyson, you know, we've had this amazing journey with you, largely in the United States for the last 3 years. How have you enjoyed the experience of building up to a world title defence back at home?
It's been absolutely fantastic, you know. Big shout out to Top Rank in America who made these fights in America possible over there, and big shout out to Frank who made all the fights in England happen over here. And it's been an amazing journey, you know, from where I started all those years ago to the ups and downs and being away from boxing and being fat as fuck, 28 stone, to coming back, being mentally ill, for druggie, an alcoholic, all the rest of the stuff that I'm not ashamed of. It's a part of who I am. To coming back, to getting back to top of the world and having 3 big fights with old Deontay over there, and now being back in England after all these years, 4 years away, and now I'm fighting me old pal Dillian Whyte back at home in England for all the glory and all the belts. And who'd have thought it, you know? We probably didn't think, me and him didn't think we'd be doing 90-odd thousand people at Wembley. You got Mr. Golden Bollocks, haven't you? He's been stopped by a middleweight. And that's it. Where is he now? You know, we're here, we're representing, and we're going to put on a good show, you know. It's been a great journey. And we're looking forward to an awesome, memorable night, you know. This breaks all records. This is break all records, Frank. Yeah. This is the highest capacity ever at Wembley, is it?
Highest in Europe.
In Europe.
And it's the highest grossing event of any single day event of any event at Wembley.
Well, there we go then. So, for an old boxing match against 2 old boys who people wrote off all their careers, we ain't done bad, have we? It's definitely an exciting time for me, and Frank's done an amazing job with the promotion and all that. And look at this turnout of all these people here, and they've all come to support and show the thing. And I just want to say massive thank you to every person who spent their hard-earned money on a ticket, who's going to watch on a pay-per-view, whether it's in America or England. It all takes earning, and I respect every person who tunes in on the night. That's it. Thank you.
Terrific, Tyson. Thank you very much indeed. Spoken like a champion. Now, I hesitate almost before you calling a challenger because you've been knocking on the door so long. And to echo something that Tyson Fury referred to there, Dillian, nobody in the industry of boxing underestimates you or questions your right to this opportunity. You, in your life, have travelled a very hard road. In your career, it's been stacked against you time and again. After the Joshua fight, the surgeon told you it was over.
Yeah.
So you've come through all that. What does it mean to you to fight in London at Wembley Stadium for the WBC World Heavyweight Title?
Listen, it means everything to be fighting in my own country. And for the world title, especially at Wembley, it's not too far from where I'm from. You know, it means everything. It's massive. You know, obviously, the moment I'm waiting for, obviously, you know, it's a big fight. Like Tyson said, me and him, you know, we weren't expect to be here. Me especially, anyway. Obviously, I'm here. You know, I've taken risks time and time again. Obviously, a couple slip up along the way, but I'm here and I'm ready to go. You know, I'm ready to go. No, you don't hear no bullshit from me. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Nobody doubts that. Could you enlighten us just a little bit more, however? What was the strategy behind the way you prepared? Did you want to leave the champion wondering a little bit in the build-up? Or was it only for your own benefit?
There's no strategy. Listen, there's 2 sides to every story. You know, you look hear one side of the story because one side says a lot of things because I ain't been saying anything. Everyone's like, oh, you're scared, you're hiding. I ain't scared of shit. I ain't hiding from shit. It's like this. It's like this. Stuff need to get done. Obviously, the fight was signed, but there's other things that's happening behind the scene. Obviously, things have been started. And obviously, we and Frank come together, which, you know, obviously, credit due to him. Obviously, my team, we've been trying to pick up the phone for a long time and get stuff done. I hear people talking shit, like Gareth Davis saying I should be fine for not turning up to a press conference. I'm like, bro, you've been on box a long time. Don't be stupid. You've been in the game. You understand how these things work. There's 2 sides. Everyone needs to come to an agreement. You understand? And if the agreement doesn't reach, then I'm not going to fly all the way from Portugal, waste 2 days traveling, doing this, doing that. What for? I'm training for the biggest fight of my life. Obviously, Tyson Fury you need to concentrate. You need to focus on training, not flipping wasting time and flying. If things is done and I'm happy and it's worth it, then I'll do it. I'm not doing anything if it's not worth it. And you feel me? It's simple as that.
Point taken. So how do you win, and what have you been working on in that camp that was quite difficult to get access to?
You see Saturday night, man. You know, no point in me sitting there saying it's one of those fights where I've been working on being adaptable. Because those fights where I'm gonna have to adapt constantly. You understand? I'm gonna have to adapt, make smart decisions when I need to do what and how I need to do it and how I need to approach what I'm doing. So that's it. There's no strategy here. That's it. Just need to just go and do my thing.
Do you feel the way you came back in that second fight against Povetkin has readied you for this?
Listen, that's just a fight. That's just a boxing fight. I've been, that was nothing. I lost to Povetkin. I have little people saying, "Oh, you're finished. You're gonna lose again. Don't fight him again." I was like, "Shut the fuck up." I was like, "Listen, I know exactly what I did. I know what I need to do." I was ready to fight Povetkin 2 months after the loss, and then lots of things happened. He said he had COVID. He got sick, and this and the other. But listen, I don't care. Win, lose or draw, I always come to fight. I don't care. I come to fight, and that's what I do.
That's taken. I have to apologise for the occasional language, of course. But, Dillian, to refer again to the struggle you have had, you've been trying so very hard for so very long to climb to the very top of the mountain.
That's what she said. Sorry, no, I joke.
Hopefully you'll make your own people very happy on Saturday night. But in order for that to happen, you've got to win this fight. And with the fight comes the mantle that this man here has taken on in a fashion that has inspired so many people who are not even interested in sport. Are you ready to be the WBC World Heavyweight Champion with everything that means? Somebody you'd remember from your youth, Gary Mason, used to say, the heavyweight champion of the world carries the fighting spirit and the fighting hopes of all the people of the world. Do you believe you're ready to do that?
We won't know until we get there, man. I'm not one to sit down here and bullshit. Yeah, I'm ready for this. I knew I was going to do this and this and that. I take every day as it comes, because with my life story, every day for me is a blessing. I don't say, I'm going to be this, I'm going to do that. I knew I was going to be a champion. No. I take every day I wake up as a blessing, because my life has been tough, and it got a little bit easier now, but it's still about every day, man. And I always remember where I come from, what I've been through. So when we get there, we'll see. I'm not one to say, I'm going to do this, and then when I get there, it's something else. Win the belt, and then we'll see. But I'll try my best and adapt, and do the best I can do as world champion.
Thank you very much, Dillian. What does he offer, champ?
He's a good fighter, Dillian Whyte. He's a good, strong, solid man. He's big, he's strong, he's tough, he's game. He's got a good punch on him. He's got good power. He's knocked out a lot of men. He's had a good learning career as well. He's got a lot of experience in the fight game. He was also a kickboxer and an MMA man as well. So he's definitely a man that needs a lot of respect, and that's why I've given him all this training camp. I've had everything possibly I can do to train for this. I've done, so I haven't left any stones unturned. I haven't not trained as hard as I would have done for anybody else. I've trained as hard for Dillian as I have for Wilder or anybody else, or Klitschko or anybody. So he'll be fighting the best Tyson Fury. I'm in great shape. I've had good sparring. I've had good food. I've drank my water. I've had my vitamins. I've had everything. So there's no excuses from me. I'm injury free, and that's it. He's fighting the best version of Tyson Fury, and that's it.
Fantastic. We know that you sparred together. It's many years ago.
Yep.
Does it have relevance? And I'll ask you that question first, Tyson, if I may.
Not really. I think I touched this last night with Coogan. When we sparred years ago, I think it was about 2011, 12, whatever. Sparring is sparring, I think I was preparing for David A. I could have been preparing for Klitschko. I can't really remember if it was 15 or 13. And Dillian came in and he did his job along with the rest of the guys who was there, helping me prepare for a fight. You know what I mean? It's not about, I beat him up in a spar or he beat me up in a spar. We was there working together, and we were good friends together. We went out for a drink. We ate together. We slept together. He was part of our team.
No, bro. Bro, we didn't sleep together, bro.
Sorry, man.
No, we didn't sleep together, bro. We slept in a similar surrounding, but not together, bro. Relax.
Yeah, so there was no it wasn't like animosity like him versus me. Every person, every guy I bring into my training camp, I treat him with respect. I look after him like they're one of my own family. I don't disrespect anybody. Any of these training partners who ever come, I never disrespect them. I treat them like my own family. I look after them as best as I can. I pay them what I can afford, and that's it, you know. So the sparring is a sparring. We both helped each other out along the way, and that's it. I don't think you can go on what happened 10 years ago. God's sake, 10 years ago, how old would I have been? 24? He'd have been 24 as well, the same age. So we're different men today. It's different versions. He's a lot improved, and so am I. So I think everybody is underestimating how good of a fight this is going to be. I see these odds and things, and I just laugh at them because they're obviously coming from people who don't know boxing. There's like 7-1, 10-1 odds. This is a heavyweight boxing fight. Anybody can win with one punch, and it's good night Vienna. So if I'm not on my A game, then that man's going to knock my head right off my shoulders. So I'm going to have to be preparing good, and which I have, and I'm going to have to be on form to beat him. And so is he going to have to perform at his best to beat me. So I think we're in for a real treat on Saturday night, and it's coming quite quickly.
Indeed it is. Thank you very much, Tyson. On that last point, back to you, Dillian, if I may. I think a lot of people, including Sugar Hill, has actually pointed this out. There have been so many technical improvements from you along the way, and everybody in boxing knows you are a devastating puncher when you get your moment. But 12 hard rounds at the pace that this man can fight at, can you do 12 hard rounds like that? Have you got it in the legs?
I've done 12 rounds before, you know. Of course I got it in the legs. You see how strong my legs is. Of course I got it in the legs. Listen, it's a different challenge, you know. Like it's a challenge. I'm have to do my A game. I'm have to work, but you know, we've worked hard in the gym, you know, and I believe in myself. And listen, I'm willing to do whatever it takes, man. You know, I'm that kind of fighter where whatever I got to do, I will do. You know, anything, any victory by any means necessary, I'll do that. You know, and I'm not scared to take risks. I've taken risks my whole life, so it's nothing new.
Not only is it an amazing occasion, Frank, but all the elements seem to me to be ready in this one. We've got two British fighters fighting for the greatest prize in sport, the WBC World Heavyweight Title. There is immense public interest in this. And I think both the fellas are expecting it to be an absolute barnstormer. Do you see it in that fashion?
Absolutely. You know, Tyson, you know, who comes to fight, you know, Dillian does. And you know Dillian's style, he comes forward, he walks on, and you've seen Tyson in his last few fights, certainly his last two against Wilder, where it was toe-to-toe. So what do you think you're going to get? You're going to get fireworks. This is going to be explosive. It's going to be... Me, personally, I don't think it'll go the distance. I think it's going to be explosive, and you're not going to be able to take your eyes away from it, because the styles make the fight.
Thank you, Frank. What's the American perspective on what we're going to have in the ring?
Well, the American perspective is obviously they're as much of a fight knowledgeable people as everybody here. They know that Dillian has an incredible left hook, and he puts pressure on you. And they've seen a lot more of Tyson lately because he's been in more high-profile fights in America and seen one of the great heavyweight fights of all times when him and Wilder fought. And they know he's a brilliant boxer. Styles makes fights. He's going to be all over him, and Tyson's going to have his hands full. So I agree with Tyson. I think the odds makers are looking at the wrong fight.
Dillian, back to you. How do you envisage the night of the fight? Because it's Wembley, because you're from London, because there are so many tens of thousands of people, with every respect, who want Dillian Whyte to win and win well.
You know, this fight is one of the fights to go in there with an open mind, like I said. This fight's all about being able to adapt and make decisions quickly, you understand? Because Tyson Fury, he says one thing, he does another thing. Like he said, he doesn't know he's going to show up on the day or what's going to happen or whatever. He might decide that he wants to box or he wants to fight. So I need to be able to adapt as of when and do my thing and keep changing and keep adapting to whatever he does. And that's what it would take to win the fight. You know what I mean? I'm not going to envision this or envision him doing that, me chasing him or him chasing me. No. I'm just envisioning being able to adapt quickly and make the decision quickly as of when and when I need to make it.
There's a couple of very wise, I was going to say older gentlemen on the end. And we know your credentials. We remember the glory years with Lennox Lewis.
Right.
Are we in for a repeat?
Well, this is going to be a great fight. It's going to be a great fight. You got a smart man in Tyson Fury. You got an intelligent man in Dillian Whyte. The good thing is that both of these guys have a high boxing IQ. And just like Dillian said, it's about adjustments. It's about modifications. And, you know, you have big heavyweights in there. Both of them can punch. And it's about, you know, myself and Xavier Miller, who I give much credit to. We put a solid game plan, as well as I know Sugar Hill has also. So we're going to take this it's at a whole nother level. So it's all about adjusting, adapting, and landing the good shots.
Thank you, Harold, and it's lovely to see you again.
Good seeing you too, sir.
Welcome, Sugar Hill. It's fantastic that you're able to join us here today.
Thank you.
But greater again is the work that you've done over the last 18 months, 2 years with Tyson Fury. Already a supreme talent, you have added something special. What are you going to try to add for this job?
Well, for this job, it's just, you know, Tyson being more himself. He's able to do more of the things that he was doing back throughout his career leading up to the time where I trained him. And, you know, just being more powerful doing that. That's what I'm looking for in Tyson. And also for Tyson Fury to be a much better thinker and setting things up. That was the main thing that we worked on, was just the thinking. You know, just being a better thinker from, you know, which he already knew.
Sure.
But it's just about, you know, seeing things a little bit differently and being able to execute a lot more powerful.
I know you fellas, camp-wise, have got massive respect for each other, and they know about the big stadium fights. Is there anything extra for you in this being a stadium? And if you don't mind me saying, this is not any old stadium. This is Wembley Stadium.
For me, it doesn't make any difference to me. I mean, it's just a boxing ring. It's going out, preparing. It's about me being focused as well. So I won't see or know any of this until afterwards, maybe about 4 days, when I start asking people and maybe watching it myself. So
really, yeah,
for me, I'm just focused, you know, focusing on the fight. And most of the times, I do have to just ask people like, "How was it?" You know, just how was it? What did you think? Because I'm just that focused into the fight, and I don't really care about anything else.
Can I ask you for what you've picked up style-wise in Dillian Whyte that you need to address?
Well, you know, style-wise, it's not really about style with Dillian Whyte really as much as it's his power. You know, he's improved, if you want to know that, technically on his jab and his footwork and his defense. And, you know, adding that power to it, it just makes it a difficult task. And we're just ready for Saturday night for everything to come together. Everybody's here all together right now. You know, a few more days, we get to see it all.
Are you enjoying all this, Dillian?
Yeah, of course, listen, I've had, 6, 7 pay-per-view fights, and, you know, it's always the same, you know what I mean? I show up, I do my job, and that's it. Show up, do my job, and run off into the night after. It's another one I'm going to do again. Show up, do my job, and run off into the night, disappear for a bit, and come back again.
And longer term, do you permit yourself to think about what you will do if you become the champion?
Listen, man, I'm just focusing on the fight, I'm becoming real champion. Everything else, I haven't thought about a day after that, you know, everything else will fall into place, and we decided what we're going to do after. You know, I was focused on the belt, winning the belt, and I waited for it. I fought tooth and nails through court, and it cost me a fortune to get this title shot. Literally, it cost me a fortune in legal bout to get this title shot. So, shit, I need to get some of that money back.
Okay, we're going to shortly run toward the end of our allotted time span. So maybe, Todd, I could ask you perhaps to give us one final remark or two, please.
Well, I think the final remark for all of us is we're in the middle of something very special on Saturday night. And, you know, we always talk about at Top Rank, we do a video called This Is Boxing before we do our main event comes out. And it takes you down that journey of where you were in history. If it was Ali, if it was Leonard, Hagler, Hearns. All of you guys should note this Saturday night as a historic night. And take it all in, because these guys are going to put on a hell of a fight. And we're in for a hell of an event. So this is one that you're going to be telling your grandkids about.
Thank you very much. Frank?
It's going to be a war. That's what it's going to be. These both want it. You heard them. There's going to be no give or take here whatsoever. And it will be, for the boxing fans, it won't get any better. So tune in, watch it. It's on BT Box Office and back in America on ESPN. So do not miss it, because I'll tell you something, you're going to see a classic.
Thank you very much, Frank. And to the champion goes the last word.
Yep, put the lights out, it's totally fine. Yeah, everything's going to go to plan. It's going to be a great fight. Tune in. Me and Dillian are bringing it all, are putting it all on the line. Do not miss this one. Big shout out to everyone who's coming. Respect you all. All the best. God bless.
And to you, sir.
Oh, I thought you gave the loss rate to the champion. Shit.
We're trying to be even-handed. That was a
okay, cool. Sorry, guys, I'm not ready. I was like, cool.
Well, you've got to be ready for everything.
Hey, thanks everyone for coming out. Respect. Thank you, guys. Thanks to Tyson Fury support, my supporter. Thanks to obviously Tyson Fury team, Frank Warren, and ESPN and everyone who's involved. And thanks to my team who stand by me, all my friends and family and stuff, and all my supporters, man. Respect.
Well done, Dillian. Thank you very much indeed. Gentlemen, let's have the face-off.
Well, that concludes the press conference here, Andy. Your immediate thoughts? Well, actually, we're about to see a face-off. Let's have a look at this face-off first. We've been waiting a long time for this. The two fighters will lock eyes for the first time in many, many years.
It was good-natured, wasn't it? It was good-natured. I think we expected that, because they do go back a bit. They do know each other. There's never been any real animosity between the pair of them. And it's business for them. Big business, massive business, but that's still what it is. It's always great to see the hardware. I love seeing the belts. That's
They do.
Two great-looking belts.
They do look good.
From Dillian Whyte, and interestingly, the two camps more heated than the two heavyweights. A 6'9", 275 pounds heavyweight champion. This will tickle the 6'4", 255 pounds. Challenger. I mean, this is what's fascinating.
Well, the respect was there between Tyson and Dillian. You can tell these guys know each other. You can tell they are old friends. There's a little tickle there, but the animosity seems to be coming between the camp.
Absolutely, absolutely. That was really interesting, actually, because the way the press conference went, I wasn't surprised to see the two of them face-to-face, totally relaxed with each other. We were talking about it beforehand, and they've been around the block a lot of times, these two. They know that it's better not to waste the effort, not to expend the emotional energy unnecessarily, and there was no way that they were going to do that. But you're right. It was the two camps. It was John Fury, your partner in crime, and Dean Whyte, who seems to be getting into it. And Tyson was the one who sorted it out.
I mean, they sorted it out between them. They told their camps to calm down. Tyson was backing everyone up. It seemed to be John and Dean, and I'll be speaking to John about that later in the week. What was said, what words were exchanged. The actual press conference itself, quite funny at times. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Like I said, you've got two veterans, and the tone of it right from the very beginning was respectful and including and unexpected. That's what she said. Gag from Dillian Whyte. I've been binge watching the US office the last few weeks, so that was pure Michael Scott. He'd have been proud of that. But
he also had to refute claims that they'd slept together, which is always fun.
again, which was not something we expected. But it was good to hear from them. I thought everybody spoke well. Todd DeBuff giving the view from stateside. You know, a big deal for ESPN and for Top Rank, and of course Bob's not here this week, which is a little bit of a loss. You know, it's always good to have Bob Arum in town, but all in all, everybody was very sensible there, and there was a good bit of humour, so it wasn't dull. but there wasn't any kind of histrionics or fireworks. It's kind of what I like to see, to be honest, because it would be strange if it started now, wouldn't it? Because we know that there's not really anything there between these two.
Well, usually what I've noticed is it will be at launch press conferences where there will be some real histrionics, because you're trying to sell the fight, right? This is, you're 8 weeks out, you've got to sell your tickets and that, and the fighters ham it up a bit. This is just all business now, and it was quite good-humoured at times. Your final thoughts then, Andy? Can the fighters take anything away from what happened today? Will there be heightened tension in the camp because of what happened with the face-off and them having to calm their camps down?
I don't think so. I think if anything, possibly Tyson might just say to his guys, listen, let's just calm down, shall we? We've got 3 days left to go before the fight. We just don't need to take anything there. This is going to be a nice, easy fight week. It's going to be fun. And you want to get through that fight week, like I say, having taken as little out of your emotional and mental battery as possible. And there's no reason why they can't both arrive on Saturday night having not made any kind of dent in that whatsoever. But it's interesting when you see people around fights, isn't it? They kind of feed off the energy of it. Yeah. They feed off the raw passion of it, if you like. But the two men who are actually going to get in there and do it, they were
cool as you like.
Cool as you like.
No, it's fantastic. And well, look, that's the end of the press conference today. It's been fun. There's been jokes, but I'll tell you what, there'll be no jokes on Saturday night, will there? It's serious business. Wembley Stadium, 94,000 people. BT Sport box office, the lineal and WBC World Heavyweight Championships on the line. We're finally here. Tyson Fury, Dillian Whyte. We'll see you next time.
Got a message for Dillian?
Yeah, you get knocked out, bitch. The king is back.
I'm sick and tired of Tyson Fury, man. He's such a fraud. Dillian Whyte.
You're not on my level. Let's have it!
No one is scared of you. Bring the pain, man.
Only Tyson Fury's power, and I've dropped him on multiple occasions.
Untrue. Dillian Whyte couldn't drop his Grammy.
He just talks crap. I put it on you in a boxing gym. You yourself.
Is there anyone else?
One of the biggest fights in British boxing history.
I survived so much things in life.
Me and Dylan are going to put it on the line.
One fight can change everything, man.
You're getting knocked spark out.
Everyone write me up. I just keep showing up.
He's refusing to show up for today's Wembley press conference. I'll definitely win this stare down. Power!
#1, baby!
You've gone silent. Where are you, Brilliant?
Hello? He says he's the best. I want to fight the best.
I bring the hype.
What's my problem? It's going to go up.
Wembley's a sellout and they've all come to see me. The Gypsy King!
No more talking.
It's an everyday thing, it's a mindset. The defense ain't even on the line yet. I can move like a ghost with the stutter step. I ain't seen nobody do it better yet. My team over your team, nah, better yet. My city over your city, you can tell them that. You can stand right next to the coach and you will never get the ball or a game plan. When it's all said and done, we can shake hands. I'll be in the locker room, champagne dance. Now we on the team playing like, hey man, what time are we doing the parade stand? Gotta put the trophy up high, both hands. We ain't get it overnight, it's a slow dance. Hey. Press the limit. Hey. What if I told you that I wasn't who you said I was? I'm better than I thought I was. Press the limit. What if I told you that it's not what you said it is? It's better than you think it is. Press the limit. Time to be wasted, and when I get it
it, you know they gon' hate it. Yeah, you know they gon' hate it. Know they gon' hate it. They ain't believe me, they thought I couldn't achieve it. They ain't wanna see the boy reach greatness. Oh no, no, straight from the bottom and I made it to the top. Gotta win every day, so I take it. Yeah, I go hard on the baseline. Yeah, you never thought you'd see the kid shine, but I'ma run it up. I'ma run it up. I'ma run it up. I go hard on the baseline. I ain't gonna stop till I get mine. So I'ma run it up. I'ma run it up. I'ma run it up. Every day I gotta get it. I cannot lose. I cannot lose. Every day I gotta get it. I cannot lose. Man, I refill